One. Today we want to talk about functions introduction, which is the 5.1. We want to tell whether the following mappings are functions or not. We have two mappings. This is the first one and this is the second one, whether it's a function or not. And the first one, yes, it's a function. Why? We have two things, input and out. There is an arrow going from the input to the output. Here we said yes, it's a function. Why? Because each input, the 2, the 4, the 5, has only one output. Only one output. So we said yes, it's a function. In the second mapping, it's not a function. Why? Take care of the -4. What happened here? The input -4 has two outputs. Look, the input -4 has two outputs, so we say it is not a function. So what's a function? Function is a relation that assigns exactly one output to each of the inputs. Determine whether each relation is a function or not and explain. -3, yes. So 5, -3 has one output with 7. 5 has one output with 6. The 9, take care of the 9. It has how many outputs? Two outputs. So we will write like this, not a function. Why? Because the input what? The input 9 has two outputs. Very good. We also look here at the input. 5, one output. 10, one output. 15, one output. 20, one output. So we will say yes, it is a function. Why? Because each input has only one output. You will write like this, each input has only one output. Each input has only one output. Here, the input one has how many outputs? One output, two outputs, three outputs, four outputs. So of course it's not sorry, it's not a function. Why? Because the input one has how many outputs? 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 outputs, and that's why it's not a function. Here it is a function. Why? Because each input has only one output. 1 was 2, 2 was 4, 3 was 6, 4 was 8. Very good. In the table here, again, it's the same idea, but in the shape of a table. You will find that the 0 is with -1, 1 was -2, 2 was -3, 3 was -4. So each number of the input has only one output. So we can say yes, it's a function. Each input, the same reason, each input has only one output. What about this one? The 5. Look at the 5. It has an output which is 0. It has another output which is 5. Another output which is 10. A fourth output which is 15. So of course this is not a function. Why? Because the input 5 has how many outputs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Has 4 outputs. Very good. Here, all of them, -4, one output, one output, one output, one output. So it's a function for the same reason. Each input has only one output. Here, take care. The one has an output 5, and it also has an output 8. So of course the one has two outputs, so of course it's not a function. Why? The input 1, what should I do with the one? The input 1 has two outputs, and that's why it's not a function. In this type of graphs, how do we tell if it's a function or not? Again, x here is the input and y here is the output. Generally in graphs we use something called vertical line test. We imagine a line. It has one output here. Imagine a line here, one output. Take care of this one here. Imagine a line. How many outputs? Two dots, correct? So this means it has two values for y. This x, which is 1, it has two values for y. Here y is 2, and here y is 3, 4, 5. Here y is 5. So it is not a function. Why? The input, what is the input here? X. X was what? 1. Has how many outputs? Look, 1, 2 on the same line. So it is not a function. 2 outputs. In this one, again, imagine that you have a vertical line. How many points does you have? Only 1 point up here. At this line, vertical line. We also only draw vertical lines. 1 point here. Also, you have 1 point. Again, imagine a vertical line. 1 point. For every x, there is only one value for y. So this is a function. Why? Because each input has only one output. Very good. The last two questions here in this section. Again, I just use the vertical line test. Imagine that you have a line, vertical line like this. Where does this blue line hit the other blue line? Look, in 1 point. Imagine any other line like this. It will only hit in 1 point. So it is a function. Why? Each input has only one output. We'll just write the same idea, the same sentence. Take care here. When you draw a vertical line, use the vertical line test. How many points did you hit? Look, 1, 2. The vertical line hit the graph, this graph, in the first point here, and the second point here. So this one is not a function. Why? Because the input, what is the input here? X is what? X is 1. Because the input 1, which is here, hit or has two outputs. Well, where are the two outputs? This one, the first point, and this is the second point. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Please let me know if you need any help. Have a nice time. Bye bye.